Mark, 30 seconds until airtime. Once again, stations, if you encounter technical issues during the broadcast, please call the Oregon Studio Hotline at 336-831-0864. Stations, your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Duck's gonna pick it up, and here we go. Got him deep. He's open. He's got it, and he's gone.
How about that?
Oregon repeats as the Pac-12 champion.
Duarte pulls up, 3-ball. Bang!
LJ Figueroa!
Oregon goes back-to-back for the fourth time in the last 6 years. The Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
Foley 3. Goal! Hill fires and hits a 3. Left wing, pow. Yeah, boom.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
What a weekend.
We're just getting started.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
We got a lot to get to today. Floated and one out, pitch to Nowitzki. He hits this one into left field. Betcher will score. Oregon wins. Sam Nowitzki stays hot, comes through with the big hit. Ducks win 3-2, and they win the series against UCLA. Ducks will go for the sweep tomorrow as there's a dog pile on Nowitzki in center field. Yeah, we have a lot to get to today. Walk-off wins are fun. Oh, that was so awesome this weekend. Welcome to Duck Insider. I'm Joey Macca. We're going to hear from Mario Cristobal coming up in just a moment as the Ducks did scrimmage this past weekend. Also, cornerbacks coach Rod Chance. That was from this weekend. Shout out to the Quack Video crew, our entire squad for putting it together. And look, you're going to hear from Mark Wazakowski coming up as the Ducks are currently sitting in, frankly, great position to host a regional in postseason. They're tied for first in the Pac-12 standings right now. Oregon baseball is awesome to see. So, with that in mind, the Ducks right now looking like a top 8 maybe seed in the tournament, which means that they will probably be hosting a regional. Got to take care of business. But here's the thing. You're going to hear from Mark Wazakowski. He was frustrated after you heard me say that was from Saturday. The Ducks did not win the game in extra innings on Sunday. They're now 3-1 in extra inning games. They had been undefeated in extra inning games actually all season long. Well, Oregon lost to UCLA 7-6. And you'll hear from Mark Wazakowski. It's the little things in a game where you lose by 1 run. But how great is it that the head coach is upset about not getting a sweep when the Ducks know they had a chance, but they won a series against UCLA, a team that is, I think, going to make a lot of noise in the postseason, and a team that has been the class of the Pac-12 for the better half of a decade, better half of 2 decades, really. How many people would love to be in that situation? How many programs would love to be in that situation? That was cool. Oregon softball also winning their Pac-12 series against Stanford. And you know what? Similar theme. You're going to hear from Coach Lombardi. She was frustrated after the Ducks did not get the series sweep in the conference action yesterday. 2 diamond sports that their standards right now are so high around the University of Oregon that they're frustrated that they don't get a series sweep when they know they're capable of doing so. Also, Pac-12 championships for men's golf, women's tennis, women's tennis, and Scott doesn't even know what I'm about to say. I do this to Scott every now and then. I'll pause and I'll look at him and I'll see if he's like ready for it. Track and field back at Hayward again. God, it was so cool to see all those alums, all those great Ducks at Hayward Field. You probably saw some of the images. Just a great weekend that we're going to recap for you. In-depth look at Oregon baseball and softball. Also, some pretty darn cool things for Oregon women's golf. Congratulations to Cynthia Liu and Brianna Chacon, giving the Oregon women's golf team their first ever first-team all-conference selections. First time in program history that Oregon women's golf has been given those honors. Congratulations to Cynthia Liu and Brianna Chacon. That's just outstanding. All right, tons to get to. This weekend, the spring game. Can you believe it? The spring game. That's this weekend. 2 o'clock Saturday. We'll have a 2 o'clock broadcast for you. It's going to be on Pac-12 Network as well. Jerry and Jorgie will be up in the booth. I'll be roaming around the concourse, hopefully with fans, and
I'm looking forward to seeing it, everybody. Terry Johns will be with us as well. We do have the spring game coming up at 2 o'clock. And Mario Cristobal, the Oregon football head coach, well, he met with the media after practice on Saturday because the Ducks scrimmaged a bit on Saturday. And what that format's going to look like for the spring game on Saturday, well, he talked about that a little bit. The Oregon football head coach meeting with the media this weekend as we preview Saturday's spring game.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Wrapping up scrimmage number 2. Every first, second team, and some of the third team guys getting on average about 50 snaps apiece. Most of it live ball. Towards the end, we went thud because that's what we do sometimes during our 2-minute drill. But just working a lot of situations, everything from the typical stuff that we do, playing football, then getting down the red zone, working some third down situations, working some stuff in 4-minute and 2-minute again, ending with 2-minute, and just making it really, really competitive. But certainly the level of competition, the level of physicality, we have improved in certain areas. A lot of focus on our coverage teams, on special teams. Felt like we made some improvement in that area as well. All in all, just a really good practice. A lot of development and a lot of guys getting a lot of snaps, which we need for this coming season. So,
yeah, Mario, after the first scrimmage, you talked about how you wanted a better execution, better overall play from your unit in the 2-minute. How did they do this time around, second time of 2-minute drill?
It's back better. I think that, football really, a lot of it comes down to how you play the next play, right? You finish what you're doing, you finish that play, you go on to the next play. And a lot of guys that have played ball have to just continue developing, pushing, encouraging guys that haven't played a lot of ball. When say you got a penalty and you're in 1st and 15 and your own 33 and you got minutes something on the clock, well, that happened today. So what are you going to actually do? And if you're focused on the penalty, if you're focused on getting blasted by the media, your people, or some other folks out there, instead of focusing on, all right, my assignment, here's a signal, here's a formation, here's a play, here's a snap count. That's where the separation, becomes really, really just clear in terms of who's moving up and who still needs who still has work to do. And we saw that today. We saw growth in that department today. And we also acknowledge that that's an area that requires work, because sitting in these nice rooms and talking about it and some cool temperatures isn't going to cut it. We got to keep throwing these situations at our guys, and today, there were some random flags that were thrown on purpose just to see what type of reaction there was going to be, and to see, all right, who was going to bring a sense of calm and composure while at the same time some fire and juice to move on and make a play. So all that stuff and more today.
Mario, after last Saturday, when you kind of acknowledged that for that day, the offense was a step ahead, did you see a good counterpunch by the defense? And have you seen that back and forth consistently that, good teams have during?
Yeah, early the counterpunch was a strong one, like a Tyson left hook is what it was. Defense came out first 3 series, and it was hard. It was hard to move the football. They made some big plays, forced some turnovers. Verone had a phenomenal interception just coming off the hash and tracked one down. Spectacular football play, eye discipline, angle, and then just athleticism, just going up and making something happen. And then after that, it got really competitive. Both sides started trading shots, some explosive plays, made some negative plays, forced, hung onto the ball better. It's been a huge point of emphasis, just making sure that ball security is at a premium, and placed a lot of guys that had been working with the 2s with the 1s, and some of the other guys that were with the 3s working with the 2s. So, yeah, it was. It's exactly what the course that you want to take. We saw that today, and we just got to keep improving and stay at it.
Mario, in terms of the quarterback rotation, did Anthony continue to take all the first team reps? And with the younger guys, did Robbie get a chance this week since he was a little bit limited last week?
Yeah, Robbie did. Robbie was healthy this week. Anthony took the reps with the 1s today, like he's been doing all along. And then the 2s, they all had their moments. So it's hard to say, all right, this guy's separating more than the other guy. They all had their moments, both good, and then other moments where they need to learn from. But Robbie was part of the rotation, and they all got even reps.
How has a receiver in that competition played out? I know you've got some older guys and Johnny and Jalen, but then you've also got some really young guys too that are different body types. How's that gone, you feel like?
Yeah, that's a great point. I had highlighted those guys to talk about them. I didn't want to miss those guys today because, the older guys have been great. The older guys have done a really, really good job just making plays, pushing the tempo, just enforcing the culture in a big time way. But we've also had some guys go out there and we've put them in situations we want to test them. Can they make plays in certain situations. And a couple guys got to be pointed out. Number one, Isaiah Crocker today made some unbelievable plays and has had a really good spring. So there's a lot to look forward to in him. Chris Hudson today made several big plays and explosive plays and made guys miss. And his blocking is improving. I was messing with him about his blocking, told him I'm going to have him start meeting with Coach Mirabal on the offensive line on occasion to make sure he gets his, half placement where it needs to be. Troy and Dante have had really good springs. So those guys, we're counting on those guys to make a significant contribution this year. Go right down the line. There's a lot, Micah Pittman has had a great spring. Micah has really, we move him around a lot. Micah's a smart guy. You can put him in different spots. Devin Williams continues to make big plays. All in all, just, Coach McClendon has really made an impact in that room, and those guys are bought in, working hard. A lot of explosive plays by those guys.
Mario, on 2 corners who seem to be on the rise. Obviously, DJ was a backup for you last year, came with some big plays late in the season, but looks to be in line for a pretty big step up. And everything in talking to Rod sounds pretty good on him. And on Triquez, and just the surprising spring that he's having in a big positive way after redshirting, developing, starting off at safety, and just the spring that he's having so far.
Yeah, Quez has been, not a surprise to us, but the development that he's had has been just significant. It's been really strong. He's always been a big guy, longer guy who's played safety, played receiver. His transition to corner, that's just an excellent move for him and for us. He understands the position, understands leverage, has got really good hips, good balance and body control. And he's consistently been in the high 21s and low 22s. So he's a guy that could really run, covers a lot of ground, plays the ball really well, great ball skills. DJ has been outstanding. He really has. We all knew about Mikkel. Mikkel continues to have a great camp, but DJ James is, he's a bigger guy than what you would think. And he's a 6'1.5", 6'1" guy that could run, can bend, come out of his hips. He could play the boundary. He could play the field, can play man coverage, drop back there in zone, run the alley, make plays, get guys on the ground. So I know you had mentioned a bunch of guys, but those guys really, Dante Manning, Jalen Davies, gosh, we're very proud of the way those guys are coming along. They all know we have a lot of work that we have to do. They understand the importance too of continuing to change their bodies. We're on those guys all the time about when you're a DB, the amount of running that you have to do in practice and on special teams. It's an incredible amount of yardage that they cover. And to be really good, you've got to be able to do it every single day. And to do it every single day, you got to take care of your body, put the right stuff in it, recover, all that. And they're buying in. Those bodies are changing. The mentality is getting better and better. So proud of those guys.
Tight ends Spencer Webb and Patrick Herbert were guys that there was a lot of excitement about both of them last year, and they had their injuries that couldn't play. And just how you feel like their development has come along through spring, and just are they getting reps with the ones?
Absolutely. They both are getting reps with the ones, and they're both doing really well. They're both throwing themselves in there, which was always what you want a tight end to do, right? The biggest and hardest transition for a tight end from high school to college is being able to do something at the line of scrimmage. Trying to be a C area blocker, a C area gap control guy is a tall task, especially when you don't do it much in high school. And it requires a lot. It requires development in the weight room. It requires ungodly amount of reps. It requires dealing with myself being up and down the field all over those guys about that particular area. And Coach Bobby Williams has done a really good job getting those guys just really well taught, focused on technique and fundamentals as it relates to that. Now, that being said, the offense is now much more expanded than it was a year ago. We didn't have a spring. We had a short camp. Their involvement has been pretty significant, and they have both made plays, as well as the other young guys as well, both Terrence and Maliki. So, but it was great to see Patrick bounce back, because Patrick was a guy that we all know is going to be a really good football player. And you could coach him hard. And he responds, and he's continued to develop and grow. And Spence, losing him last year was something that really hurt us offensively. And so it's good to see him have a really good spring as well. Both those guys have done really well.
With 4 practices this week, Mario, and obviously ending on the spring game next week, just what is the plan for each day this week, and what do you want to see in terms of further development and areas to address?
Yeah, we'll be full throttle. We will. Tuesday, Thursday will be a typical Tuesday and Thursday spring practice. But that, we'll be in pads. We'll be in full gear. We'll be working, team run and play action periods. We'll work, Probably a force period, get the ball in the perimeter, both in the form of a toss, screens, some of our boots and wags, work some of that stuff. We'll get in a heavy third down and red zone play, make that competitive. We'll probably do another shot of 4-minute, 2-minute, and an overtime period. 2-minute will be worked every single day. Aside from that, we will present situations, end of game situations, 13 seconds ball on, 24-yard line, need a touchdown, stuff like that. Just throw those things at them. Present it to them in a meeting, talk to them about what we were looking for. What are the big do nots, right? A lot of times you'll lose games more than you'll win them by just not, different situations and the things that they present with them. So we'll be doing all that stuff all week. And then on Friday, Friday will be more of a walkthrough to make sure that we are very well organized for the spring game on Saturday.
Yeah, Coach, how about injury-wise or health-wise? How's things after the scrimmage, and how's it looking for some guys maybe coming back?
Okay, today was good. It was a healthy day for us. We feel fortunate that we've been able to get a high quality, high levels of work done without suffering anything significant. And the guys are being really good. When we go full live tackling, we've done that, and we've improved the way we've tackled. We feel like we're getting the right kind of work there. And when we've gone our thud periods, which is full speed but staying up, nobody tackled to the ground, just our improved athleticism helps us practice and not go to the ground. And that is, I can't emphasize how important that is, and how an off season is tied into that, because guys that probably came in underdeveloped or not strong enough or not have enough balance and body control, they end up on the ground. When guys end up on the ground, guys get hurt. And so we're learning how to practice a lot better. Still got a ways to go, but certainly improving.
Mario, you guys were always really aggressive in terms of satellite camps in campus, and used 9 days off campus before. Years ago, it was viewed as kind of gimmicky with what other schools did in that regard, or, oh, well, maybe they were trying to establish something, but everybody was, okay. But is it not almost more, again, you guys were always really aggressive. Is it not almost more important this year, particularly, to be that way? Because after 15 months of a dead period, these could be really instrumental this year. I mean, it always was for you, but this could be really big this summer, this June.
Yeah. Well, some of them are, and some of them may not. Depends who's going to be where at each locale specifically. I think it's also important to note that the rules have changed where unofficial visitors, they can actually participate in, a camp-like regiment on your campus as well, so that you do get to find out things that you want to know about a player, not just from a spec standpoint or from a numbers and whatnot standpoint, but how a player responds to coaching, right? There's a lot of things that you can do now that are certainly different, but you want to get out there. You're also scrunched with the fact that you have official visits in June. So where is the balance? Like, who can go out, who has to stay back? And the calendar changes every day. I'm sure you see it, right? On social media, 14 camps pop on there every single day, and your original plans got to change. So there's a lot of juggling going on. May's, and set in stone, because you really got to get a lot of your opponent work done in the month of May, because you really don't know exactly what June is going to look like. We'll find a way to use our days. We'll find a way to use them. And certainly, like you mentioned, getting your eyes and in-person evaluations are always going to be the most critical, the most important thing in trying to decide who fits your program, who fits what you're trying to do, and who you end up, taking in terms of your class.
That's Mario Cristobal. A lot to unpack as we get ready for Saturday's spring game. 2 o'clock, more info to come throughout the week on attendance, what things are going to look like. I know that we'll have a 2 o'clock broadcast for you across the Oregon Sports Network. When we come back, Rod Chance, we're going to talk a little cornerbacks. He met with the media for about 15 minutes or so. We're going to hear from him after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics, because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics. This is the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school, so I'm trying to break that barrier. My daughter, Brooklyn, was also a motivation for me to go back to school. Every day after work, went straight to school, and it paid off.
At age 26, Kareem finished his high school diploma.
I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you. Going to hear from Rod Chance after we just heard from Coach Cristobal. And to answer your question, Jim, yes, spring game will be televised. Pac-12 Network's going to have it for you. We'll have the broadcast on the radio side on the Oregon Sports Network as well. I always encourage you to sync it up because, let's be real, you want to listen to Jerry and Jorgie. You want to listen to Jerry and Jorgie. You don't. I know that none of you care about me. That's totally fine. But Jerry and Jorgie, you need to hear from those guys. So, yeah, spring game will be televised at 2 o'clock start as the Ducks will take on themselves inside Autzen Stadium in the final spring practice of the season. The 15th spring practice will be the spring game at Autzen Stadium Saturday, 2 o'clock. More details throughout the week as things get worked out and finalized here around Oregon athletics. You know, Rod Chance, I really enjoy listening to Rod Chance break down his team. Man, so cool. So cool. Hearing him and his story. So to give you just the Cliff Notes version, he worked here at Oregon, wasn't a coach, went off, had massive success as an assistant coach, now back here because of his relationships that he built at Oregon, and he's just killing it as the Oregon cornerbacks coach. Rod Chance met with the media to talk about a position group that has got some proven guys, but also some young guys that have really impressed. Rod Chance meeting with the media.
Rod, just your thoughts on the first 2 scrimmages, obviously just off the field from the second one, but how you thought your guys did, particularly at the corner spots, but the secondary as a whole, these first couple of scrimmages.
Well, you know, obviously today and obviously the first scrimmage as well, I'm very pleased in where we are as a unit right now. We got a lot of guys that are going to step on the field for the first time, you know, in their Oregon careers. Obviously, we've been blessed to have the defensive backs that we had here for the past 3 or 4 years. But at the same time, we're very excited to see these young men put themselves in position to make plays. So both the first scrimmage and this past scrimmage, you know, the guys really handled themselves, handling the new defense, very well, going in and out of the different calls. It's a great opportunity, great learning opportunity for a lot of young men to get some reps, you know, and to get themselves prepared for their first football game.
Rod, you just mentioned how young your room is, and we had a chance to talk to DJ James the other day. You know, obviously him and Triquez are from Alabama. You got a lot of California guys, Dante from the Midwest. What's kind of the chemistry of your guys right now?
Man, I'll be honest, man. The chemistry is great. You know, the guys all like one another. We got a motto in the room that we want to compete with each other, not against each other. And what that does for the morale and the camaraderie of the room, it takes it through the roof, that we all want each other to succeed. Okay, and we're also rooting for our teammate to make sure they make plays. So if the next guy is in, we're rooting for him to make plays for us. And when it's my opportunity to get on the football field, you know, I have an opportunity to make plays as well. And my teammates are happy for me as well. So, you know, both DJ is taking a huge step, obviously, you know, played probably about 25 to 30 snaps as we ended the season. Very proud of where he is right now. He's taking that next right step, you know, preparing himself to play multiple snaps. You mentioned Triquez as well. Triquez probably is one of my, you know, surprises of the spring. I think he's done a really good job in terms of making his presence being felt. Obviously, we came here playing safety, so him converting to the position, has been a transition for him. And now it's a situation for him where he's thrust out there, and he's actually been showing us some things that he's able to go in there and handle himself pretty well. Dante Manning, obviously, he's a great athlete. Really begin to learn the position. These reps have been valuable for him. I think that once he gets these reps under his belt, and also the summer program, and we're going to see a continual jump in terms of his learning development and also his position-specific movement, in terms of him going on. Very surprised, by the level of acumen of Jalen Davies. He showed himself to be very well thus far, in terms of handling himself. Obviously, this is a kid that's supposed to be going to prom here in a couple of weeks. So to be here as an early enrollee, going through a system that, is a little bit more detailed coverage-wise than we ran here in the past. Very proud of where he is right now. I'm excited to add the other young men to the room, and we progress through the summer development.
Yeah, Rod, what's the next step for Michael? You showed up as a freshman and was really good and moved into the starting lineup last year as a sophomore. Like, what's the next step in his progression, you feel like?
I think for one, I think we got to go all the way back because Michael didn't play his senior year of high school. Then obviously, he's a backup his true freshman year, playing a lot of special teams. And then next thing you know, it goes against Stanford and he has to go play 75 snaps. And, as a corner, and this is something that I've been talking with DJs about, as a corner, it's a difference between going in there to spell people and then going out there to play 75, 80 snaps. So there's some growing pains that Michael had to go through that first game. And I think he gave up a couple catches, that first game, and a lot of people were in a hoopla, but he ended up having an all-conference season once he got, the experience necessary under his belt. And I think people have to realize he's a young man. They got to go play the game. And, are they going to make some mistakes? Yes, right? But we're going to continue to coach him, continue to love him, continue to develop him. So I think for Michael, man, he's moving really well right now. He's one of the best athletes I've ever been around. If you show me a defensive back that can move and change direction, as well as he does or better, I like to see those dudes. I think the next development for Michael is to continue to develop his body. He's a very sharp young man, in terms of the football. Not a man of many words, but in terms of schematically understanding coverage, understanding concepts that the offense is trying to throw him, he's very astute. For us, we're trying to be a little bit more vocal, which we do see him doing now, coaching Jalen Davies, coaching some of the younger corners up, which has been a welcome, welcome surprise for us all. Because if Michael, he doesn't really say very much. He doesn't want to come up here and do any of these things in either. So for him to be stepping up and getting outside of his character, to help mold the young men, that's a huge deal for us. And we know that he's growing forward. So I think the next step is really developing his body. I think on the football field, there's nothing that he can't do.
Rod, where's Jalen lining up primarily? I know you usually like to start in one spot. So see on the boundary, and just what's the progression and competition like with him, with Dante, again, younger guys at that spot?
I think for me, going into this deal, I wanted to get us playing left and right for the spring, primarily because we only had two of these guys that actually played in the football game at corner. So analytics-wise, I wanted to have an opportunity to look at this spring and see both guys, see our players playing both field and boundary. Then we can kind of take a look at the self-scout to see who's most efficient where, rather than, just saying this guy's going to be here and that guy's going to be there. I wanted to have some tangible data, that showed the efficiency of where players play versus the field versus the boundary. So got the guys lined up left and right now. So it's been a steady competition. Nobody's playing, only boundary or the field. So it's actually been good. I think the players like it, in terms of not having to run back and forth, takes a little bit of mileage off your legs as a corner. Haven't played the position. I'm trying to really reduce that, but at the same time, I'm going to do what's best for our program. If the learning or the scheme tells us that we need to be a field or a boundary team, we will. But I just think it was key for us at having limited amount of guys who actually been out there in the game. Let's get some data. Let's get some tangible evidence that we can kind of go off of.
Rod, certainly having a couple corners from Alabama would be no big deal in the SEC, but you got a couple of them up here in the Pacific Northwest. What made DJ and Triquez a good fit at Oregon, and how much does that help to have them here together?
I think this about the University of Oregon, I said it, when I came back, I think it's very unique. I think everybody, for the most part, are out of state, for the most part, in terms of their players. So I think that creates a potpourri, a mixture of players that's diverse areas where they're from, diverse backgrounds, races, religions, creeds, all of those different things. And I think it creates a unique opportunity, a unique experience for our young men. And it starts with the players by embracing one another. I've been other places where you may not embrace people that may be outside of that region. So I think it starts by the character of people who we recruit, to make sure we put the right people in our building, which they are. And the young men that are already there, welcome them with open arms. So Oregon has people from all over the place. So in terms of recruiting, it doesn't matter. Dante's from, from Missouri. DJ's from Alabama. We got Michaelis here from California. We're going to get some kids here from Nebraska when we come in, come into the fall. So I think that's something that we pitch in recruiting, that, hey, it's not just regionally dominated. You're going to have an opportunity to meet people from various lives, various walks of life, different regions, to carry on with your network as you continue through life.
Could listen to Rod Chance talk all day. It's exactly what we're going to do when we come back. Going to hear part 2 of Rod Chance talking cornerbacks and beyond. Wait. This is important. Okay. Jeff asked, does Coach ever say anything about his role in the Rocks TV show? See a lot of Cristobal on it at times. He has not. Let's just say he's been asked about it, and Coach has not spoken about it a lot. But he has been asked about it. I'm still not sure that Coach has seen the show. So I don't worry, Jeff. It'll come up again. I personally have not seen the show yet. Is it any good? Tell me if it's any good, Jeff, because I actually don't know for sure. But, yeah, he has been asked about it. I'm sure it's going to come up a few more times. We're going to hear more from Rod Chance, brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute Research Center. Fight like a duck with cancer care you can count on. More with the Oregon cornerbacks coach as we preview the spring game next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Dear Freedom, Toyota hybrids say, let's go faster and further with 10 hybrid models to choose from and tons of top tech. The best part? Every Toyota hybrid offers an extended hybrid battery warranty for 10 years or 150,000 miles. So let's go places. Toyota hybrids.
For Toyota hybrid, plug-in hybrid, and fuel cell and battery electric vehicles beginning with model year 2020. The hybrid HV battery is covered for 10 years from original date of first use or 150,000 miles, whichever comes first. Coverage is subject to terms and conditions of your new vehicle-limited warranty. See owner's warranty and maintenance guide for details.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesmaned the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll have the info you need to get more for your future. Go to aceyourretirement.org, because when it comes to speeding past financial challenges, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
GTG, BRB, OMW, be there in a few. You may think that these kinds of texts are fine because of their length, and you can easily send them at a stoplight. But no, answering one text can take your attention away from the road for 5 seconds. And traveling at 55 miles an hour, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Make good decisions, don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you inside the Country Financial Studio. Going to recap tennis and golf, both the men's and women's side on the Pac-12 championships here coming up. Also, we've got a tournament bracket set for Oregon lacrosse. They'll be heading to the Pac-12 championships here coming up next week. And Oregon baseball and Oregon softball, their coaches were upset about not getting sweeps even though they won the series. Hey, I understand why the coaches are frustrated. Chance to win a couple big-time games, but also still won the series, and they're frustrated. It's a pretty darn good spot to be for a couple of teams that look like they're going to be top 16 seeds, which means they would be hosting regionals coming up for Diamond Sport postseasons. We're going to hear from Mark Wazikowski and Melissa Lombardi coming up in just a little bit. Rod Chance, though, talking about the spring game. 2 o'clock start on Saturday. Going to be on Pac-12 Network. We'll have the broadcast on the Oregon Sports Network as well. Always encourage you to sync up Jerry and Jorgie, because who wouldn't want to listen to Jerry and Jorgie call Oregon football when you have the opportunity to do so? It's going to be fun, I think, to see this team in action. Really going to see, I think, a lot of competition. That's what we've really been hearing about, is that this is a talented roster. Cornerbacks, definitely that way. And Rod Chance, we continue hearing from him talking about the cornerback position.
Yeah, Coach, watching a lot of pro games and college games, pet peeve is the defensive back's not turning their head looking for the ball, even though they're beat a little bit. If they turn their head, look for the ball, they'd have an interception or breakup. How do you teach that, the fine line of when to look, how to look, and do that?
So I think for us, we always start with the location of the wide receiver, okay, and where we are in relation to him. I think that's the first thing we always look for. The next thing is the field location, because if it's obviously in the plus area, there's less grass to cover than we're on the -20, where you're a little bit inclined. I can look and have my eyes back because the offense is running out of field to throw the football to. So I think the two things there for us is where we start at. Obviously, if a guy's behind, he has no business, looking back at the football because he hasn't earned that right. For us, we want to earn the right to look at the quarterback, which means that we have to win the route and be on top because I got to protect the end zone first. So I think when our kids or our players are in a stressful position, they may be trailing. Their teaching is not to look back at the quarterback because it's hard to find the football and locate what I'm responsible for, that receiver at the same time. Okay. If we're even with those receivers, meaning my shoulders are even with him, all right, we want to locate through the man. Because in a lot of college football you see right now, what are you seeing on the vertical balls that everybody is tight to? Okay. You're seeing a lot of push-offs, right? A lot of back shoulder throws, and those calls never get called. No fault to the referees. Those calls don't get called. So self-adjustments means we're going to turn into that man and locate the football through him. So we still have an opportunity to see it. And in the last position, okay, if I'm a yard ahead of that guy, that's the most ideal position to be in a perfect world where I'm a yard ahead of the wide receiver. I can squeeze him out to the sideline, then I can get my eyes up. So it's really about location of where I'm at in relation to the wide receiver, and also field location where we're on the football field, whether or not the offense is running out of grass. So it's a combination of those two, because with the back shoulder phase and the push-offs that's happening with the big wide receivers, those things just aren't getting called. So we got to put ourselves in the best position to not only defend the route, but defend the end zone so they don't score points.
Yeah, Rod, just your thoughts on the week that's going to be for Thomas Graham and Diomede Lenore, and just kind of the life-changing moments these will be for those guys.
Man, obviously, anytime young men can continue to play this game and fulfill their dreams and, get paid to do it, obviously, as a program, we're going to be fired up for them. I've been talking to those guys periodically as we've been doing spring ball. Some of them excited, talking to them in between some of their NFL meetings and things like that. But all I can tell them all, hey, man, look, what's for you is for you. Enjoy this process, enjoy your family. Somebody's going to get an opportunity to get a really good football player. And guess what? The process is over. You're right back to being a freshman, no stars next to your name when you came to college, right? And then you go create your craft and create a role for yourself. So I think those young men are fired up as the ones I've talked to. We're in constant communication for the most part, but whether it's about communication, whether it's about, chalk talk with other programs that they're talking about what defenses we run to give them refreshers about our system. But those guys are fired up. I'm fired up for them. You know what I mean? In a few days, they're going to have a little bit of money in their pocket. Maybe they'll treat me to lunch instead of me treating them. But obviously that's going to do wonders. You know what I mean? You come to Oregon, you play great defensive back play, you go play in the National Football League. Now you have those guys that are moving on to go play in the National Football League. Creates a huge opportunity, not only for the players that are here, but also for those young men that we're looking at to add to our roster as well. So great opportunity, great chance to be a DB here at Oregon.
What makes DJ capable of handling not just the increased workload, but getting picked on a little bit because he's the inexperienced guy?
No doubt. I think some of that's going to happen. You know what I mean? He's going to have to stand up. That's the world and we live in. But I think for DJ, man, I think he's the same athlete as Mikal. You've seen him move around, you've seen him run around, you've seen him change directions. He can do the same things, right? It's just those reps of getting that experience of what it is. I think, DJ's just, if they line up and race, Mikal might be right there, DJ will be right behind him. If you ask Mikal about DJ's foot speed or his transitions, he may tell you that, hey, Mikel's that DJ has better feet than him. So those two young prospects are very good players with very good skill sets. Now it's just about adding the body strength, the play strength, right? And really for DJ, the confidence. It's easy to be confident when you play 936 snaps, which I believe is Mikel's snap count. DJ's at 256 snaps, since he's been here. So I think having that snaps on his belt is helpful, but imagine when he gets to 500, 600 snaps, when there's not a situation he hasn't seen. So in terms of his movements, man, I'm fired up about him. He's dialed in. He's communicating at a high level, and the competition in the room is good with both him, Triquez, also and Jalen Davis. So it's been fun, but DJ's a special guy, man. He can move. I'm just anticipating him taking that step forward, really growing him forward in our program, because I think he can do it at a high level as well.
Yeah, as far as snap counts go, obviously Dante Manning didn't get a lot due to injury, but what do you think he took out of last year, and where is he in his development?
I think what Dante realized, he realized that college football moves very fast. And sometimes what you see in those situations is confirming what your own personal ability is. And I think he saw that, hey, look, I belong. I can make plays here. And he just have to get on the field and play. Obviously, him not playing that last season, we would love to have him have those reps back. But, thankful he's right back here, didn't lose a year of eligibility, still the same athlete. We got him healthy now. He's looking a lot better, in terms of his movement skill, and he's growing into position. Again, there's going to be some learning curves for him as well, just going through a true college football season now, a true college install. So, and he's handled it very, very well. He's careful with his words. He's intentional with his preparation in terms of how he meets and how he answers questions in the meeting room. So I'm excited to get him out there some more. You know what I mean? Just keep on putting him in different situations, whether it's game situations, third down, short yardage, red zone area, those things that he needs to learn and how to utilize the skill set that he does have, because he's special. He has a body type that we don't have per se. And when he puts hands on you, guys move. So we got to continue to grow him forward, continue to learn. I got him under my wing. I got him in my left pocket as much as possible. But we're fired up about his development. He's going to be a really good football player here.
Right. You mentioned Quez before. Speak to the guy that you saw when Keith was recruiting him heavily and that you were helping out with, to now how he has shown up and been that big surprise for you.
I think for one, it'd be maturity. I think, for one, he was a developmental prospect just looking at his frame. Obviously 6'3", was very thin when he first came in. His body starting to fill out, shoulders getting a little wider. So I think that's one that's created confidence in his movement skills and ability to move. But with 6'3" frame, obviously, those long levers, they reduces the parameters of the football field. So we're always looking for that length that can transition as well. And you look at his report from high school, what he did in high school, he had some really good ball skills. I believe he's a state record holder in terms of interceptions in the state of Alabama. So the skills were there. But much like I tell all my players, man, you cannot look at someone else's GPS. And I know as coaches, as fans, we want these guys to come and perform at a high level as fast as possible. But the truth is they all develop at different rates, and for him, it's taking a little bit longer than probably he wanted and probably we all wanted. But the stuff that we're seeing right now is the stuff that good football teams are made of and good secondaries are made of, when you can create some championship depth. And then you have a tool bag. None of our DBs really look the same. We got some guys that are tall, some guys that are shorter, and we need him to step up in a major way to be that long body that if we have a boundary X that's a big body that we can actually throw a 6'3" body at him in order to compete, or if it's in the red zone where guys are trying to throw fade balls against some of the teams that like to do that in our league, that we have a serviceable option, to kind of throw that on there. So he's a great young man. He has a 3.4 GPA. Everyone in this building is rooting for him. He's a blessing to coach, and to see him take the next step forward has been very, very welcoming. I'm on him very hard. He'll tell you all the time, like, Coach, stay on me, but I'm on him very hard because I see a lot of potential. And obviously, when you see a young man that does the right things on and off the football field, you can't do anything but cheer for him and root for him to go.
Man, I just really enjoy listening to Rod Chance talk about his squad and these guys. And, of course, it is NFL draft time. Isn't that exciting, man? So many Ducks that are going to have their just lives changed coming up on Thursday. Friday, we'll break all that down for you and go through a full spring game preview and break down the NFL draft. God, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do that later on this week. Coming up, Oregon baseball. That's right. The Ducks, it was a fun weekend, even though they didn't get the sweep. But I think that says a lot about where this team is at. We're going to talk about that next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Hi, welcome to the Spicy Drive-In. May I take your order?
Can I get the spicy chicken sandwich, please?
The spicy chicken is an excellent choice, sir. And to drink?
Whatever's fine.
Oh, may I make a beverage pairing recommendation this evening?
Sure.
If we are feeling especially bold tonight, sir, I would recommend the Mountain Dew with that. It's bravely unrestrained with a very alive aroma that pairs wonderfully with your spicy chicken. It's followed by a hint of zesty citrus flavor.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
I'm sure you already know this, sir, but remember to appreciate the nose first by giving the Mountain Dew a little swirl to relieve volatilize it.
What?
To change the flavor compounds and activate your taste buds to get them fully primed for that chicken sandwich.
It's delicious.
Now you're getting the hang of it. The muscular flavor charge characteristics of Mountain Dew make for an absolutely epic mouthfeel when paired with spicy cuisine. It is quite on point, sir.
Dude, it's a perfect match. Like they were made for each other.
So true, so true.
When you want to make good food bolder and bold food better, do the Dew.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield IMG College.
Hey everyone, let's all stop what we're doing and take a moment. You see? Every moment can be kind of special. But they could be loud moments, goofy moments, dorky moments. It doesn't matter. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hello, it's me, the designer jeans in the back of your closet. What happened to us? I used to summer in the Hamptons, and now I'm stuck behind a pair of sweats. Okay, maybe I never really fit you right, but I got a lot more Sunday fun days left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you, recapping a ton going on over the weekend. Of course, the spring game is coming up on Saturday. Looking forward to it. A 2 o'clock start time at Otsa Stadium with more details to come throughout the week. Tomorrow on the show as well, I want to mention this, Rob Mullen's going to join us. Yeah, the Oregon Athletic Director is going to be with us tomorrow for Athletic Director Tuesday, brought to you by Pepsi and locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. I'm looking forward to that. I haven't had Rob on the show in a little over a month, I think. So it's a good time. We figured right before the spring game, good time to catch up with the Oregon Athletic Director. That's on the show tomorrow. Oregon baseball Friday. Look, I'll tell you guys what. Friday was just a really good baseball game. We got off the air. Alex Stimson was roaming around with the wireless mic, and I said this to Alex. I was like, man, that was just a good baseball game. You know, like, you walk away from sometimes those games where you're like, yeah, that wasn't, like, yeah, Oregon won 18-1, but it wasn't really a good game. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was a good game that the Ducks won 5-3. Robert Ahlstrom went 8+ and was absolutely rolling. He retired 17 straight at one point against UCLA. And Sam Nowitzki stayed red hot. He had 3 doubles in 5 days, including this game on Friday. Sam Nowitzki with 2 RBIs, had a run scored, really stayed hot, and the Ducks won 5-3, even though UCLA threatened Oregon in that 9th inning. Ducks were leading 5-1. Got a little interesting, but boy, Colby Summers in the bullpen really took care of business. So the Ducks won the first game, and it's like, all right, feeling good. Saturday, it was another really high-level baseball game. Really high-level baseball game. The Ducks won 3-2 in 10. We'll play the highlight again in just a second. We have to do that. Ducks had some chances really in this game, but never really broke through. So, for example, Aaron Zavala slides past third base in the 6th inning. Would have put a runner at third with less than 2 outs. Slid past it, didn't work out for the Ducks. Now, they had some other opportunities to break through. You know, for example, in the next inning, the Ducks missed an opportunity. They had a runner get cut down at the plate, and so I tell you what, Colin Kafka did not have his best stuff, but the bullpen was absolutely outstanding. Andrew Mosiello, Nico Teleshev, just all the way through, the bullpen was really, really good on Saturday. And it came down to a bases-loaded situation in the 10th. Sam Nowitzki, familiar name, had to get it done after an intentional walk of Gabe Matthews. That loaded the bases for the Ducks. Sam Nowitzki came through, and the Ducks won the series. 2-0 count with the bases loaded and 1 out. The pitch to Nowitzki. He hits this one into left field. Betcher will score. Oregon wins. Sam Nowitzki stays hot, comes through with the big hit. Ducks win 3-2, and they win the series against UCLA. Yeah, I figured we had to play that again for you. Also, William said when we played it earlier it was a duck pile. I do need to start saying that. I can't say dog pile in center field, can I? It's a duck pile. I really like that. So thank you for that suggestion. That's awesome. It was great to see, though. I mean, look, it was just a high-level baseball series. I'll tell you, looking at some of the postseason projections right now, Oregon's a 1 seed. They're going to host a regional, it looks like. Got to take care of business, though. Keep knocking on wood. UCLA is projected right now as like a 3 seed. I'm just going to say this. I will go on air, on record here on Monday, April 26th at 1:48 p.m. UCLA ain't no 3 seed. That is not a 3 seed in a regional. Because remember, in baseball regionals, you get the pods of 4 in the 64-team tournament. Then it's super regionals that are 3-game series, then the 8-team College World Series. UCLA is not a 3 seed. If UCLA is a 3 seed and I'm the 1 seed in that regional, I'm out. Like, no, this is not a 3 seed. That team's really, really good and really, really talented. They were top 5, top 10 in all the polls coming into the year, and the Ducks beat them. And then Sunday was honestly another really good game. Home runs were the difference for UCLA. Ducks gave up a few long balls. 5 runs on 3 home runs were scored. 2 of them hit by J.T. Schwartz. Well, he's hitting 400 on the weekend, or 400 on the season, I should say. Matt McClain, who's a top draft prospect according to Baseball America, he was the shortstop for UCLA. He hit one. I mean, the heart of the order got it done for UCLA. Ducks, though, had some opportunities. They lost 7-6 in the 10th. One of those situations, this is where I think it's so important to remember just how good this team is, this Oregon baseball team. So Mark Wasikowski postgame, you're going to hear a little bit from him in a second, said that the delayed steal in the 6th inning and then the home run that followed that delayed steal where the Ducks did not execute an out at second base, that happened with 2 outs. If they had gotten the runner there, Schwartz doesn't come up and hit that 2-run home run, right? So it's things like that he thought that was the difference. That was what frustrated him the most. Mark Wasikowski, they won the series, but those little things matter, and you can hear the frustration in his voice because the Ducks had an opportunity to sweep. They didn't quite get it done yet. They still won the series. Mark Wasikowski.
Yeah, we won 2 out of 3 this weekend, and boy, there's a lot of disappointment with not finishing off the weekend.
Take me to the bottom of the 10th. The decision to pinch hit, forget who it was. It was Hanoan for Grant. That decision, and then the decision to lay down the bunt.
Well, Tristan had the freedom to do what he wanted to do to get on base and have a quality at bat. He chose to do that. And so it was just a matchup situation where Tristan's done a nice job in pinch hit situations. And so we went with Tristan in that spot, provided a spark, provided energy, did what he needed to do, gave our ball club a chance to tie the ball game in the 10th inning, which was the objective right there, is at least tie it to where we can continue to play.
Might be tough in the moment, but can you reflect on the fact that with where you guys are at this point in the season, you can win a series against UCLA and still be pissed that you didn't finish off the sweep?
I think the beginning of your statement's correct. I can't. No.
So despite the loss, I mean, big picture, it looks like you guys are in pretty good shape, going forward. You're still right there for a conference title and everything. If we had said at the beginning of the season that you'd be half a game or out of first place or tied for first place at the halfway point, would you have taken that?
Yeah, you always want to be in first place. And so, yes, Ashley, I would take being in first place, and we're in first place, and I think we can play better.
Is there a moment today, an at bat, a decision, something that you're most frustrated by right now?
Yeah, it was a team loss. We lost the game in the 6th inning on a 2-0 delay steal, followed up by a home run. The delay steal is a team loss. Throw out the runner, plus runner, very good player. McClain's an outstanding player. Throw out the runner on delay steal. The rest of it doesn't happen.
It's those little things. You can hear the frustration in Coach Wasikowski's voice. And now they have a chance to bounce back against San Jose State coming up Tuesday and Wednesday. Yeah, I just, look, that's where this team is, right? You're frustrated you don't get a series sweep, but you still won the series and you lost in extra innings on Sunday. Now, you want to win every game. Don't get me wrong. That's where this team's at, though. And that's, to be honest, as the broadcaster, that's a cool standard that they've set right now. That's a really cool standard. That's Mark Wasikowski talking postgame. Ducks, though, are still in a great spot. They're 24-9 overall. They're 10-5. They're tied for first in the Pac-12 and still in a great position to host a regional, maybe even a super regional, and maybe even take home a conference crown. Got a couple questions about this today, Paul. There is somebody near me. Scott is sitting here in the room, my producer and director. We're following University of Oregon policies by wearing masks, being in the same room that does not have any ventilation, as you can see, because this is a soundproof studio. I've answered that question a few too many times, I think, now. We're going to come back after this and wrap it up with the Cafe Yum 2-Minute Drill on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home.
So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Okay, forest animals, kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow, have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. River, how's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man.
I love it. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. Okay. Squirrel.
The forest has been preparing just for you. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy, and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter. Yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. A 2-for-1 here. Your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill. Also, our update of the week from Women in Flight, brought to you by the Duck Store. Proud supporter of Women in Flight. Oregon softball this weekend. We'll get to that in a second, but I just want to re-highlight sophomore Brianna Chacon and freshman Cynthia Liu receiving all Pac-12 recognition on Sunday for Oregon women's golf. That gives the Oregon women's golf team its first first-team all-conference selections in program history. Just awesome. Congratulations to them for their stellar performance. And for women's golf, the Oregon women's golf team put together its best round of the weekend to close out the Pac-12 championships on Sunday. They fired a 1-under 283, tied for 5th place at the Stanford Golf Course, and now they await their championship selection. It's on April 28th, Wednesday, 11 a.m. on Golf Channel. You'll be able to tune in. The NCAA championship scheduled to begin May 10th and 12th. Men's golf, championships for the Pac-12. Going on today. They play in 36 holes today as the rounds are underway. Men's tennis dropped a 4-1 decision to USC on Saturday in the Pac-12 championships. Bounced back to get a win over Utah in consolation play. They were scheduled to play for 5th place today. Didn't work out for the Ducks because there's rain in the San Diego area. I think, though, in San Diego, like a drop is enough to knock you out. So men's tennis, though, we'll see if they're able to make that up here coming up. And women's tennis, Oregon took number 3 seed Cal down to the wire in singles play with 4 matches going to 3 sets. Came a little bit short in the quarterfinals for the Pac-12 championships. Ducks will learn their postseason fate when the selection show airs on Monday, May 3rd, a week from today. Your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill is Oregon softball. We wrap it up with them. We're going to talk with Coach Lombardi tomorrow on the show in depth. Ducks won the Pac-12 series against Stanford, dropped the decision on Sunday. Coach Lombardi was similar to Coach Wallace, frustrated. Ducks are in a good spot. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Man, do I love card night. You ready, boys? You got a king?
Go, fish, Dad.
Oh, come on. This is WWE superstar Titus O'Neil.